Right to Scotty in Tampa on the Rays with all the moves they've made and other things. Scott, welcome. It's your turn first here today. How are you? Okay, pal?
I'm good, Dougie. Thanks. I'm going to get to the Rays in a minute. But first, let's be honest about one thing you said in the opening, Chris. The only reason why you didn't stay home with your kids was because Jeannie wanted you out of the house. Had nothing to do with you taking the days off. Jeannie wanted you out.
Absolutely. You kidding me? My wife wants me out of that house every day at 8:30, 8:45, no matter what. She doesn't want me doing any radio shows from home. She doesn't want me anywhere near that little abode. She wants peace. That's all there is to it. And the only way she gets peace if I do a radio show and a TV show every day. That's all she cares. And she's right, I have to admit. Go ahead now. What do you have for Tampa today?
All right, so here's my quick hitters for you. First, you would have thought NBC with Lindsey Vonn that she was Eric Heiden. I mean, they were making her out to be the greatest skier in the history of U.S. skiing. She's got one gold. Congratulations, you came in third.
Oh, very much so. They wrapped around their whole coverage. We saw her crying for hour upon hour with those eyelashes. Oh, it turned me off. I completely 1,000% agree. NBC trying to drape you around. Well, their ratings have been banged around these last 5-6 days. After Shaun White, they needed to. There's no Americans doing anything, so as a result, they kind of pinned their hopes on Lindsey Vonn. Chen fell on his rear end, and they pinned their hopes on Lindsey Vonn, and there you go. So I'm with you 100% on that. What's number two?
All right, two other quick ones. First, on the gun thing in Florida, Chris, look, you know you lived in Florida. I've lived here now 25 years. We are one of the top 5 most gun-friendly states in the country. I agree it's disgusting. I'm not surprised, though, because it is Florida.
Oh, I understand. There was no way they were going to pass anything.
No.
You'd have to have the legislators shut up before anybody would even pay attention. None of those... they all know if they fight against it, if they battle for gun control, they all know that they're going to be elected out of office, and that's all they care about is being in office. So that's all there is to it.
Next. That's correct. It's all about their elections and not about.
That's all they care. You know, they don't care about doing the right thing.
They don't care about the constituents.
All they care about is having a chance to sit in Tallahassee 8 months a year. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing on the Rays, Chris. Boy, are they lucky that it's the Red Sox opening day. Because did you see now what their starting lineup is going to be? If they didn't have the Red Sox opening day, Chris, it might be the most embarrassing opening day crowd in history. Did you see what their opening day lineup is? It's absolutely pathetic.
Well, Denard Span and...
Denard Span leading off. Chris, here it is. It's Denard Span leading off.
Right.
Matt Duffy batting second.
Right.
Kiermaier batting third. Wilson Ramos batting fourth. C.J. Cron batting fifth.
He of the Angels.
Brad Miller sixth.
Right.
Jake Bauer 7. Hechavarria 8. And Malik Smith ninth.
That's a rough team.
Everyday lineup.
That's a rough team. And nobody can moan and groan. You only drew $1.2 million last year. So the question is, can they get a shovel in the ground quick enough to save the franchise in the Bay Area? You and I always say no. What's next? Go ahead.
I agree, Chris. I don't think there's a single way they save Tampa Bay Ray baseball. They can move them to the Golden Palace, anywhere in this area. It's not going to make a difference. This is going to be pre-2008 Joe Madden Rays now, and we know what that was like. It was sad.
Now, very bad. We'll see how that works itself out. Rich in Florida. He's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Richard, good afternoon. How are you today?
Hey, Chris. How's it going?
All right, Rich. Nice to talk
about the New York Jets.
All right, Jet football. Let's hear it. Go ahead.
What the heck are they thinking, and what kind of dangerous precedents are they trying to set? Trying to talk about
it's stupid.
$100 million guarantee
100%
for Kirk Cousins.
I couldn't agree with you more. This is the last thing the Jets need. This is a guy who's never won a playoff game. They have the 6th pick in the draft. There's a million quarterbacks who are available right now, including A.J. McCarron. They can get Mayfield. They can get anybody they want. They can't get, obviously, the top 2, Darnold and Rosen, but they can get Mayfield. They might be able to make a run if they're lucky on Allen, the kid from Wyoming. They do not need Kirk Cousins. He has never won a thing in his life. Not all his fault, but he has never won a thing in his life. He collapsed at the end a year ago. He collapsed at the end when they fell apart. He stunk against Green Bay, and the Jets to spend $30-40 million on Cousins I know they need a quarterback, but they need their absolute heads examined if they go in this direction. I'm with you 1,000%. 100%.
Chris, what they can also do, they also need position players as well. $100 million is not going to get them the position players they need and a quarterback. Why not go look at some of these embarrassment of riches teams like the Minnesota Vikings, pilfer from them, pilfer or maybe even inquire about going ahead and asking about Nicky Foles. Them doing what they're doing right now out of disparity, and some of these other teams with the Garoppolo deal and stuff like that, is setting a dangerous precedent for salaries in the NFL for medium-level tier players who have either not won anything or have had limited performance.
Well, listen, it all comes down to the quarterback spot, and we all know that the quarterback spot is the most important position. Garoppolo, who's played 5 games. Now, I think he's going to be really good, but they've made him the highest-paid quarterback in the league. But the Jets with the 6th pick, with Mayfield, with Allen, with McCarron, with a lot of maybe a Viking, Foles, maybe a Keenum or Bradford. I know he's always hurt, but I mean, for the Jets to go out there, if they're thinking about doing this, they need to reassess it. It's not the smart thing for the Jets to do. Cousins has not shown that he's a playoff Super Bowl type quarterback. He's not shown, no, none of them have, but he has not shown that he's worth $30 million. I don't think, although a big quarterback would be very important for the Jets, but I don't necessarily think he's the missing piece. There's no other offense there. That is a move I agree with you wholeheartedly I would never make. Matt is in Massachusetts, and he's with us here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Matthew, good afternoon.
Hey, Dog. Before I get into the Red Sox, quick thing. I heard you had PJ on the other week to talk the NBA. We're a week away from March. Would love to have him on again and talk college hoops.
We will do college basketball. We won't do it probably this week, but I know PJ can do big sports and do both of them. We'll get a college basketball spot on for you that first week in March. I don't know who that will be. Maybe Eddie can find somebody who works at the College Channel, but we will get somebody on for you before too long. Don't forget the regular season in college basketball ends for most conferences a week from this weekend. The Big Ten regular season ends this weekend because the Big Ten is going to play their Big Ten Conference tournament beginning next Wednesday at Madison Square Garden, 1 week from today. So from that standpoint, the season is moving to where the games actually mean a little something. So once we get to that point, we'll get a guy on for you, I promise. Go ahead. Next.
And PJ's old Seton Hall Pirates struggled the last couple weeks, but they got all the ingredients to make a run, which will be good for the New York.
Which they have not done yet in the NCAA. They've been very, very. Correct. 2 years ago, they were great, and then they went out to Denver and got destroyed by Gonzaga, if you remember correctly. Go ahead.
They did. They had a tough draw, the worst one.
That was a tough draw. Tough travel, bad draw. You're right. Go ahead.
Now, Doug, on to the Red Sox. With Martinez finally getting that big bat in the middle of the lineup that we missed since Ortiz, and Price and Porcello certainly not going to have as poor a year as they did last year. Do you think that's enough to compete with the Yankees and the Astros? And I'll hang up and listen.
I think the Red Sox, I think right now in baseball, Matt, there's probably 8 teams that can win a championship. The Nationals, the Cubs, the Dodgers, the Astros are 4, the Indians are 5, the Yankees and Red Sox are 7, and take your pick on an 8th team. You know, you want to say the Cardinals, you want to say the Mets if they got healthy, you want to, say, even San Francisco if everything broke right. There's 8 teams that theoretically can win a championship. That's it. There's 8. Maybe only 7, but I'm going to give you 8. And the Red Sox are one of those 8. The advantage the Red Sox have over the Yankees, and the only advantage that they have over the Yankees, is their first 2 starters, if going good, might be better over the long haul, even in a short series, than Tanaka and Severino. That's really all they got going for them. The Yankee lineup's better. The Yankee bullpen is better. The depth of the Yankee starting pitching is probably better. But you can make an argument that Sale, although last year late in the season wasn't great, that Sale and maybe Price are better than Severino and Tanaka. So they have good offense. They're going to be a very good team. They make the playoffs, but I don't know if they're going to be a great team. And again, there's only... Really, when you think about it, there's only 7. I might be able to find you an 8th right now that can win a championship in Major League Baseball. Here's Matt in Ohio. Mad Dog Unleashed for him. Matthew, welcome. It's your turn. How are you today, pal?
Hey, good, Matt. Mad Dog, how you doing?
All right, Matt. I'm doing well. Thank you. What's going on? What do you have for me?
No, it's going to be one of your more depressing calls today, but I got to tell you, I'm 36 years old. You've been doing this a long time, dog. And, I've appreciated listening to you over the years and your take on sports, but I got to tell you, I see your spot with Barstool, and I think Barstool is hot garbage. I'm kind of on the tail end of their demographic. But what is going on, do you think? It kind of reminds me of what happened to MTV, just the dumbing down of sports media as we know it. You know, if you're not talking pizza reviews, hot girls, or stupid drunken antics, it doesn't sell. And to your point, you know, you go out for this bit, all of a sudden you get a bunch of attention. I think you're one of the greatest voices in sports.
Wow.
But unless you talk about stupid crap, no one wants to hear it.
Well, I mean, you know, listen.
It's gotta be incredible in your spot, having seen this landscape change over the years.
Well, I don't want to go too crazy on the landscape. I'll address the pizza. It's amazing what sells. I mean, and they do a good job with that. I mean, everybody loves it. Everybody watches it. My kids are into it. You have a bite of pizza, you give it a grade. And I knew what to do going in, not to make it a high grade necessarily, use the decimal point, get everybody engaged. And I'm good at that. You know, I make something out of, make something out of a little. That's what you have to do sometimes. So from that standpoint, I knew what I had to do. But, you know, people love to watch that kind of stuff. It's not heavy. It's light. They like that light fare. With the world being so depressing sometimes, I like that light fare. Bob Gallerstein's got a book. He's going to read it to us. He's got a sports bite. Here's on Mad Dog Unleashed.